name is Kevin.
And my name is Aditi, and we're so happy to have you here. Next slide, please. So again, just a brief introduction of our team. So my name is Aditi. I'm one of the youth ambassadors. I recently graduated from NYU. I'm planning to attend medical school soon. And I'm very interested in mindfulness-based stress reduction research and also the different avenues that CWC Youth Forum offers to us as well. So we're happy to have you here.
And hello, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm going into my fourth year at the University of Nevada in Reno. I dual major in biology and nutritional science, and I plan to pursue a master's in either food science or nutrition. And I've been with CWC for around a year now, and it's really exciting educating others about wellness and putting on these programs. So I'm really excited to be here with everyone. And I will also go ahead and just introduce our third member who isn't here today, unfortunately. Her name is Prachi, and she is in charge of all of our outreach and making sure that everyone knows about all our different events going on.
So just an introduction of our event for today. So as we mentioned before, our event is going to be on music and wellness. Next slide. So for this event, we're really going to be focusing on the benefits of music. And as we mentioned, we'll be having a workshop with both youth and professional musicians, and really to learn more about how their journey impacted their own lifestyle. So before we introduce our speakers, we're just going to transition to our trivia. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
So true or false, listening to music can benefit overall well-being, help regulate emotions, and create relaxation in everyday life. Yes, this is true. So studies have shown that music can help in all three of these different things. So making sure that you regulate your emotions, your well-being, and relaxation. Studies suggest that music can enhance which of the following aspects of exercise? So out of these three different things, which are the things that can be enhanced when you listen to music? Yes, it's all of the above. And just a reminder, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. So in a study of stroke survivors, listening to music enhanced their verbal memory, attention, and decreased confusion. True or false? Yes, it is true. Music therapy is something that a lot of different healthcare systems utilize, and especially now. What is the oldest surviving musical instrument? So out of these four things, which one is the oldest surviving one? So it's actually the flute, and the specific fact here is that an ancient bone flute, estimated to be around 43,000 to 82,000 years old, was found by Dr. Turk, a paleontologist in the Slovenian Academy of Science. And it was discovered in Slovenia in 1998. So that was the oldest surviving musical instrument. So in studies of people with cancer, music plus standard care reduced anxiety compared to those who only received care. So music reduced anxiety in cancer patients. Yes, this is true. And this is our last question. So like I said, whoever answers the fastest gets the most points. Research has shown that the repetitive elements of rhythm and melody help our brains form patterns that enhance memory. Yes, this is completely true. So it's the repetitive parts of the songs that sometimes help our brain form those patterns and increase memory. In fact, there's different things that you can do. Like if you're studying for a quiz, you can listen to the same song over and over again, and that's something you can do to help your memory. So congratulations to our top three, and nice job. I don't know how to say this, but nice job to this person. So thank you all for participating in our Kahoot. Now we're going to go get back to our slides, and we're going to start off with one of our guest musicians.
So we're happy to introduce our first youth musician. Her name is Tanvi Shrouti, and she is 12 years old. She goes to 6th grade at Ardenwood Elementary School, and she'll be performing Hindustani vocal music for us. So we're gonna stop sharing our screen for a second, and we'll let Tanvi introduce herself and perform.
Hello, my name is Tanvi Shrouti, and I will be performing Rag Tela Kamut and two bandages in it, one in Vilambit and one in Drut. I would like to thank CWC Youth Group for letting me sing today.
Thank you so much, Tanvi, for that performance. That was very well done. We're going to move on to our next speaker. So our next speaker for today is going to be Ishita Kotavade. She is also a sixth grader from Fremont Union School District. She has also been learning Hindustani classical vocal, but she will be playing the harmonium for us today. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and introduce Ishita, and you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Namaste, my name is Ishita Kothade. Today I'm going to present Rag Bhupeshwari. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ishita. That was awesome. Thank you. Before we move on to our next speakers, Lucas and Bruno, we just wanted to ask you both just a small question. Feel free, Tanvi, to also unmute. We just wanted to ask you, with all of these spectacular performances, what was something that you enjoy most about your music?
I enjoy making people feel proud, or making people feel happy when I'm singing. And also I like people being proud of me when I do a very good job.
I enjoy finding peace with music.
Thank you so much. Now we will transition to our guest speakers. So thank you again, Nishita and Tanvi. We'll go ahead and share our slides for our guest musicians.
Yes, really great job, you two. So without further ado, I will introduce our first guest speaker. This is Lucas. He's going to be speaking to us first. He is a multi-instrumentalist, a music educator, composer, and Reiki practitioner who completed his BA at Berklee College of Music and taught at highly respected Stanford Jazz Workshop. He's traveled all across the world, performing music from concert halls in Japan to festival stages in Holland. So without further ado, Lucas, go ahead and you can introduce yourself and get started.
Hey guys. Yeah, so I have a really deep appreciation for Hindustani and Indian classical music ever since I was young. And that kind of ties into my story pertaining to my journey through music. And basically, I just want to start off by talking about how ironic it is that so I'm from a musical family. My father was a musician in Eastern Europe, and his father, and it's just down the lineage. And so our father took us here from Eastern Europe during, the communist takeover of Eastern Europe. So we escaped in 1980. And my father's dream was to raise his two sons here in America so that they could pursue whatever they wanted and have freedom. And so I followed in my father's footsteps, and I decided to be a musician. Now, I had a lot of positive feedback from friends and family, and my brother and I were very lucky. We received so much love and support to pursue music. And so I grew up playing musical instruments. I started playing piano when I was six years old. I started playing bass when I was 14 years old, and guitar as well around that point. And then I took up flute later on after college, as well as starting to sing. So it was really interesting because for me, I grew up surrounded by music. Our father played us amazing music by Louis Armstrong and Earth, Wind and Fire, Mozart, Bach, the Beatles, the Eagles. So I grew up with like a lot of different styles of music. And so I feel very fortunate for that. I played in lots of different groups in high school. I got a chance to travel to Europe as a 14-year-old kid. Basically, the band would go to Europe and play music festivals every 4 years. And so I was really, really lucky to get in that band. However, at that point I was playing piano. And so the teacher, the band instructor asked me if I would play bass. That's really how I started playing bass, because they needed to fill the bass chair in that band. So here I am, like a 14-year-old kid traveling to Europe. I've never had much experience playing this instrument, barely reading the notes on the page, but it was really, really amazing to be exposed to different cultures and going back to Europe, to my roots, sort of. and it really instilled in me a great appreciation for playing the bass. And I was really lucky. I excelled at that instrument. I ended up going to Berklee College of Music, and I had a full tuition scholarship. So I was really fortunate for that. Now, this is where the story kind of turns a different direction, because there were so many people that were really pushing for me to go to school, and I ended up putting like a hyperinflated amount of pressure on myself. And so in college, because I really wanted to be good, and I had this full scholarship to this music school, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and developed a lot of anxiety and stress, and I developed pretty severe tendonitis as well. So there was a certain point in college where I couldn't play music, and I was at a music school with a full tuition scholarship at a music school. So just imagine how that feels. Basically, it was really difficult time for me, and I was learning, and I've been going full throttle playing, practicing several hours a day, and was really inspired up until that point where my body just broke down and I was stressed out, and so I ended up not finishing. Actually, I went back. I went to college from 1996 to 1999, and so I didn't finish initially. I came back home to California from Boston, and I just basically, also in college, I was introduced to Reiki as well. So I should draw that in. And that indirectly started helping me. I didn't realize its value till I got back to California and started exploring other instruments. So now I couldn't play bass anymore. So I was like, what was I going to do with myself? Basically, I began exploring music. I worked at a CD store, and I literally was exposed to music from all over the world. This is really when I started listening to Indian music. I also had a Pakistani friend in high school who played tabla, so I used to go over there and we jam. I played guitar, but I never really realized its value till I got back from school, and I was exposed to all this music in the CD store. Well, anyway, I went to this really cool store in Berkeley, and I bought a bansuri flute, and I started playing the bansuri. I also started playing Japanese shakuhachi. These were instruments that I could play where I wouldn't injure myself. So essentially, I started looking to other instruments and other styles of music, to help me on my journey. And it really did help. I was very fortunate to live in California. I started hiking and doing lots of yoga. And I was really through that, I was really able to balance my mind and body and spirit. So I'm really fortunate that I had that difficult time in college, because it led to it opened me up to so many other different aspects of music. And it made me a richer musician as a result. So then, at that point, I started playing flute. And I was, through playing flute, hiking, meditation, yoga, Falun Dafa, Reiki, I was able to heal myself and to be able to continue. And then I was reintroduced to the bass, and I started playing the bass again. So that's basically in a nutshell my journey. I've been really fortunate to get a second chance, but there were those challenges. So that's that's basically my journey through music, and finding a path back to music that helped heal me. Really, it was ironic because I started my journey in music. I got to these crossroads, and then with music, I was able to heal myself. So that's my story. And shall I play, guys?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Here we go. I've been having a little trouble with my flute, so bear with me if it might sound like there's some leaks, but here we go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Thank you so much. On to our next speaker. So Bruno began his guitar studies at the age of 10 with his father, and as a versatile musician, his experiences range from rock, pop, jazz, and classical guitar. He traveled extensively to the Spanish cities of Malaga and Sevilla, where he studied flamenco guitar. So without further ado, Bruno, feel free to introduce yourself and get started with your story.
So I started playing guitar when I was about 10, and at first I was into rock music. In my teenage years, I was in a lot of bands, and I played with a lot of friends. It was really fun. Eventually, I kept searching for a bigger and bigger challenge. That led me eventually to the nylon string guitar, classical guitar, flamenco guitar, fingerstyle. I spent most of my 20s practicing many hours a day, going to college. So I think what I want to draw attention to, at least in my personal experience, was regardless of what our career is, regardless of what our path is, these are some traps that we can fall into. I became kind of, not necessarily obsessed, but very much engaged with this goal of perfection, having this ideal that, I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to practice as much as I could. And I think that can happen to us regardless of our field or career. Also, if our ego becomes too involved in that process, I think we forget about some very basic things that have to do with well-being. So eventually I kind of learned to let that go. And there are tools that can help with that, such as meditation, or just being aware of it. So yeah, something that one of the youth speakers said earlier too kind of resonated with me. It's nice to get recognition for what we do. And I think that when we tend to be very good at what we do, our ego can become very intertwined with what it is that we do, and we need to kind of separate those two things. Because if, for example, if I make a comparison to sports, right? If anybody that ever played basketball, if everybody wants to be Michael Jordan, or or soccer, if everybody wants to be Cristiano Ronaldo, like the best player in the world, we have these ideals that we strive to, and I think we should strive to them. But I think it's also good to know how to take a step back from that. Yeah, we should work hard. We should give it our best, but we can't be too hard on ourselves when these things don't happen in the way that we envision them. So I think for me, music has been a very long journey into figuring that out, being okay with the musician that I am, and not trying to hold myself to these unrealistic standards. So yeah, cracking the wellness code for me, what that has meant through music is understanding that process. So again, this comparison can be made to regardless of what your field is or career. I think these pitfalls are there always, no matter what we do. So yeah, I think my journey has been through music, and it has helped me understand that, come to terms with that, and overcome that. So now I guess I would like to play something for everybody, and then maybe we'll have time for some questions afterwards.
Yes, that's perfect. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Bruno. Through both of your stories, we've all heard how music has influenced your own lives and your journeys. What would be your parting words to everyone about how they too can establish a connection to music with their own lives?
I think music is a wonderful centering tool. Listening to music or playing music can both uh, benefit your well-being. Um, so yeah, I encourage everybody to incorporate it as part of their life, just like you would with exercise or meditation or any number of other things that we know are good for you. I think music can also play that role. Um, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, beautiful, man. I'd also believe that it's such a wonderful aspect to being a human being. Not only being a performer, musician, but listening to music. It really, really, I think there would be a huge hole in human beings' lives if there weren't art and music. It's such an important aspect. I also want to just add to what Bruno was saying earlier about his journey and really like, where we both resonate with, where, you know, creating like, and this runs through the fiber of culture these days too, which is just like this in, incredible need to be successful and really, really, be the best at something. And we see this, because we're promoting that, and because we want to be excellent, excellent at every possible thing, the best doctor, the best sports star, right? You watch the Olympics or the Indy 500, or everyone is just trying to be the best, and it really puts a lot of pressure on the younger generations growing up. And then all of a sudden we're at this level here where now you have to perform at this level. So goodness, it's like Bruno was saying, it's really good to take a step back and take a breath and create space and look at, all right, this is the goal I'm going for, but this is a really wonderful way to approach it with space and music, through music, meditation. It's a wonderful it's a wonderful tool to use in order to get to that goal, in a very, very smooth way. So yeah, definitely, it's just what an important part of our daily lives. So what a blessing to have that as a tool to use, in going through life and obtaining those goals. Yeah, being the best, but in a balanced way. So
And I would also like to add that I think there's a distinction to be made, which makes my like answering that question is a bit tricky for me because I think like it's different to me if someone, let's say, is not a musician. I would say for sure, like learn an instrument. Why not? That's obviously going to be really nice. Like, yeah, you should listen to music. I think most people do, and it's a nice uh, thing to have. But that consideration becomes, and my answer varies greatly for someone who's a musician. If someone says like, okay, this is my life's work, then I think a lot of what we're saying really applies. Although you can make correlations to any field. In any field, we should learn to take a step back and not take ourselves too seriously and not be obsessed with this idea of perfection. But as far as music goes, I would definitely say that it's not just this. If you're a professional musician, or if you choose that to be your life's work, it's not this kind of lighthearted thing. Oh, I'll just practice every once in a while. No, it becomes very very intense, and our personal sense of self-worth and our ego can become very intertwined with that. So especially in music, that is not the point, and we should learn to manage that, mitigate that, and separate those two things. So I just wanted to point that out, that it kind of, my answer will depend on who's asking, or is it someone who's casually just plays a bit of music, or is it someone who wants to make music their life's work?
I was just wanting to say thank you again, Lucas and Bruno, for your open conversations and great pieces. Like Kevin mentioned, we're nearing the end of our event for today, so we just want to thank all of our speakers once again.